Welcome back to Jesus Wins, our devotional series through the book of Revelation. And today we come to the second section of the book. I'm going to entitle Jesus Opens the Seals. So what's this section all about? What does this section teach us? Well, first of all, it teaches us that Jesus Christ is the only one worthy to carry out God's plan for judgment. And for this reason, he is worthy of all worship. So in this section, we'll see God. He has a scroll in his hand, written on the front and in the back. A scroll's like precedes the book. It is a piece of paper that you write on and you roll up, and you can unroll it and read it. And the further you go, the more that comes out. And this scroll is sealed with 7 seals. And no one in heaven, on earth, or below the earth is worthy to open the scroll or even to look at it. But Jesus Christ walks up and he takes the scroll and he begins to break the seals and open it and carry out God's plan. And all of heaven erupts in worship. But why is Jesus Christ? What's so special about Jesus Christ that makes him worthy to carry out God's plan of judgment when no one else in heaven, on earth, below the earth, no angel, no cherubim, no seraphim, the living creatures, the elders, no one can do it but Jesus Christ himself? What makes him so special? Well, we can talk about it a lot, but it is his work on the cross specifically that sets him apart as the only one worthy to carry out God's plan for judgment. In chapter 5, we'll see twice Jesus Christ is praised for his work on the cross. We'll see all of the angels and the elders and all the angels in heaven. 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. What are they saying about Christ? They're saying, you are worthy to take the scroll and to loose its seals. Why? Because you were slain. And then we'll see a little later, 2 verses later, they worship him again. They say, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. So what sets Jesus Christ apart? What makes him worthy to carry out God's plan? Because he was slain. He laid down his life and shed his blood that he might save a people from their sins. Secondly, we see Jesus Christ is in full control of every detail of God's plan, listen, including evil. We will see much evil as we go through this passage and even the rest of this book. But Jesus Christ is in full control of every detail. That will be very clear in this book. And it teaches us something, that all evil only accomplishes God's purpose carried out through Jesus Christ. Third, we see that Jesus will protect and preserve God's people both in this world and in the next. And that's chapter 7. This section here is 4, 5, 6, and 7. 4, 5, and 6, 4 and 5 are where we see a picture of worship in heaven. Chapter 6 is when Jesus begins opening the seals. God's plan of judgment is being carried out. But chapter 7 is actually an answer to the last verse in chapter 6. The last verse in chapter 6 says, who can stand? Who can stand against the wrath of the one who sits on the throne, or God? Who can stand before the wrath of the Lamb? The whole world's destroyed. Who can stand in the midst of this? And after this, everyone's gone. Everyone's destroyed. But chapter 7 comes in and gives us the answer. So, the devotional content of this section, 3 things again. If Jesus Christ is worthy of all worship, let us devote ourselves to worship him, namely for his work on the cross. Is that why you worship Jesus Christ? Are you like, Jesus Christ, I'll worship you if you're good to me, if you keep me healthy, if you heal my finger, I cut my finger. If you heal my finger, then you're worthy of worship. You know, I got a cold. If you heal my cold, then you're worthy of worship. You know, I got a financial problem. If you provide some money, then you're worthy of worship. If you give me a new job, I don't like my boss, then you're worthy of worship. If you fix my marriage, then you're worthy of worship. The list goes on and on. Why do you worship Jesus Christ if indeed you do? If you have put your faith in him and you truly are a Christian, why do you worship Jesus Christ? Because we see in this section that Jesus Christ is worshiped. He could be worshiped for many things, but namely, he's worshiped because his work on the cross. Let me finish what they say in those statements. First, they say, you are worthy to take the scroll and open its seals because you are slain, listen, and have purchased to God by your blood men from every tribe, tongue, people, and nation, and have made them kings and priests to God, and they shall reign on the earth. So Jesus shed his blood, purchasing a people to God, made them kings and priests, and they shall reign with him forever. Furthermore, they say, worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive, listen, riches and wisdom and honor and power and glory and honor and strength. Why is Jesus Christ worthy of all these things? Riches and glory and all of these things. Why is Jesus Christ worthy? Because he was slain for the sins of his people. Secondly, if Jesus Christ is in full control of even the evil thing, let us devote ourselves to trusting him. Christian, as we already saw, we live in the midst of a great tribulation. A lot of times we have these optimistic attitudes, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. We should be optimistic. A pessimistic Christian is doesn't even make sense. Yes, we should be optimistic. But guess what? Our optimism, it doesn't say, oh, everything's going to be good. No, it says, in the midst of this evil world, Jesus Christ is in control. My King is in control. The one who laid down his life for me is in control. Therefore, I can be optimistic in all things. I can be optimistic in the midst of cancer. I can be optimistic as my loved ones are dying. I can be optimistic in the midst of all these things and all this evil because Jesus Christ is in full control. And I trust him. Let's trust him, Christian. And third, if Jesus Christ will protect and preserve us, let us devote ourselves to doing his will without fear, anxiety. Jesus Christ will protect and preserve us. You know what? Even if you die, Jesus Christ did not fail to protect and preserve you. How so? See, we look at everything from a physical standpoint. Oh, if he protects and preserves my body, well, guess what? You're terminal, just like I am. Only some of us are closer to death than the next man. If nothing bad, if Jesus Christ were to protect your body, nothing bad ever happened to you in this world, you would die because of sin. So look, you might die earlier, you might die later, but you're going to die just like me. But Jesus Christ protects and preserves your soul. That's what he protects and preserves. And even death for the Christian is only a promotion. It's only an entrance into the everlasting kingdom of our Lord Jesus Christ, where we no longer see him through a glass dimly, then we see him face to face. We no longer know him in part, but then we'll know even as we are known. So, I know I've said a lot, but if you forget everything else, do not forget this. Let me say this, the first point again. If Jesus Christ is worthy of all worship, let us devote ourselves to worship him, namely because of his work on the cross.